to begin. I didn't plan on asking this, but as I listened to you, Mr. Walker, before I arrived in this new role, I admired you from afar as you, I don't know if you were on a bus or you were in a Volkswagen or what how your mode of transportation, but you crisscrossed the United States and you were sounding the alarm. And here's what, and I don't think we've ever talked about this. What was the response from the American people? Have they just gotten so numb to the debt clock ticking away with no major significant or serious consequences? I'd like to get to a place where we can agree on the facts. I heard a lot of this about the unsustainability. I'd love to get to a place, Ranking Member Boyle, where all of us could agree on the numbers, the facts, the path. We may disagree on how to address it, but where we can all take that to the American people and say, you know what? It's a problem. It's not Republican problem or Democrat problem. It's a mathematic reality, and it is a problem for this great country. So what was the response, Mr. Walker?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've done public education engagement events in 47 states plus D.C. During my career, and I've done them in 25 states just in the last 15 months. The most significant one was the 10 million a minute tour. That's how much our total liabilities and unfunded promises were going up a minute in 2012. I went to 27 states in 10,000 miles. It was funded largely by H. Ross Perot Sr., may he rest in peace. What I found in partnership with Alice Rivlin and others, and may she rest in peace, is the American people are a lot smarter than many people here realize. They know you can't spend more money than you make, charge to the credit card, without having a day of reckoning. They are willing to accept tough choices if they are part of a comprehensive plan designed to meet a specific objective, consistent with principles and values that bring people together rather than divide them apart. And in fact, we were able to achieve over 90% agreement from representative groups of voters, statistically representative groups of voters in the North and the South, on a goal, a debt-to-GDP goal, a ratio of spending to revenues, and specific tax, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, health care, defense, government organization operations, and political reforms. Minimum 77%, over 90%. Simpson-Bowles did not do that. What has to be done is a statutory commission that engages the American people with the facts, the truth, the tough choices, helps them understand that we have to make tough choices sooner rather than later, help them get input from them, seriously consider it, and then set the table for a tough vote by Congress. So they're way ahead. And by the way, I brought something. This is one of the original charts used by H. Ross Perot in 1992.
Wow.
The slope is not correct. The endpoint is. He predicted that the debt would be $8.5 trillion at the end of 2006. What was it? $8.5 trillion. What is it now? Almost $32 trillion. And as I mentioned before, that doesn't count unfunded civilian and military pensions, retiree health care, Social Security, Medicare. The real number is $123.5 trillion, going up by almost $10 trillion a year. That's the hole we're in, ladies and gentlemen.
Stunning. Dr. Taylor, I've made the statement that the president's failed economic policies and unnecessary, massive spending, some necessary with the COVID situation and weathering that, but a lot unnecessary, in my opinion. Can you connect the dots between fiscal policy and is there a connection between the last 2 years of this president's economic agenda, fiscal policies, and the inflation and the interest rates and the sputtering and sinking economy into recession? I yield to you, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, there is a connection, and I've written about it, testified in other committees about this already. The Fed got behind the curve. I don't think there's much disagreement about that at this point, and they're beginning to catch up, but they still have a ways to go. I think that I mentioned monetary policy in my opening remarks because I think it's a very important part of the fiscal side. So it's a very important thing. What I tried to do as well in my formal opening is refer to the president's budget. It has deficits growing as far as the eye can see. It has spending increases. It has tax revenue increases. These are the things that I think we need to address. We've been successful in the past by addressing those. So I urge the committee to take this on and have substantive description of what we need to be doing. I outlined a little bit in my testimony, but I think it's important to get this deficit out of the picture as much as possible. And that requires some adjustments on revenues and adjustments on spending as well.
I think the gentleman, I have so many questions and so little time, so I'm going to yield to my ranking member, Mr. Boyle, for his questions.
Thank you. I want to pick up